Good evening to you all once again. Today's
Good evening, Doc.
today's class is going to center on the sources of innovation, and thereafter we will also learn about.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, hello.
I don't know if I'm the only one, but it looks like your sound is very low.
Oh, really? Is it better now?
No, I'm sure I'm the one.
I
Let me.
think you are the one because I can hear you
Okay,
perfectly.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
check from your end,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
All right. So, in addition to sources of innovation, we will also be delving into capability building to understand how an organization can conduct their capability audits to appreciate how best they can improve upon their current state of affairs as far as innovation and the ability to embrace recurring ideas is concerned. In the outline that we are going to use is as has been shared on the screen. So the sources of innovation, which includes internal research and development avenues, open innovation, wherein organization collaborates or taps into existing innovation hubs that are doing so well in order to save cost and time. And corporate entrepreneurship, where the organization as an entity creates a culture that encourages individuals to experiment their own ideas. And we will be looking specifically at some companies that have excelled in innovating and creating new streams of technologies as a result of the corporate entrepreneurship. Then how to link technology to customer needs. In the first place, why is it important for technology to be linked to the needs of customers? Once you are unable to achieve this, then the commercialization bit of all your exercise will be in futility. All right. But I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Doc, we can see your screen.
Very well.
Yes.
Innovation in general respects can be characterized as a critical driver of competitive advantage in all modern organizations, in the sense that it is the pivot that will help them surpass whatever their rivals are doing and also differentiate from the things that majority of the competing organizations will be doing. And the best rated organizations in the world are those that are notably having innovation as a constant activity in their corporations. Indeed, firms that succeed at innovation have also reckoned that that achievement is not solely as a result of creativity or chance, but rather it requires a deliberate attempt to achieve something. And you can only do this by building the capabilities and systems in the organization that can help nurture the generation of the innovation and thereby also helping individuals that have beautiful ideas to scale it up onto beyond just registering them as patents onto a commercial level. So in the strict sense of it, innovation can emerge from different sources, whether inside or outside the organization. And because our discourse is centered within the telecommunication industry, as much as possible, we will be focusing on the salient ones that have direct connection with your line of business. And the source of innovation also stems from the attempts that is made by individuals as well as the organizations to enhance the capabilities of the workforce and the systems thereafter. Three main avenues can be identified as a source of innovation, particularly for the telecommunication industry. And these include the strict internal research and development stimuli that is able to trigger new ideas for it to be experimented and accepted. Then open innovations, and lastly, corporate strategy. So we will be taking these in turns to appreciate their nitty-gritties. And as we do so, we will be looking at their strengths and the challenges that normally comes with them anytime they are employed. So the first avenue, which is the research and development of internal capabilities. When we say innovation is originating from internal research and development, it simply implies that it is coming from within the organization through dedicated research teams, laboratories, or development units that are solely championing and testing new ideas that can help push the frontiers of their organization. And this allows the firm to build proprietary knowledge for the new idea that they are testing, because at the end of the day, if it is coming across as something that is not already in the market or the community of practice, then they can go ahead to register it in the name of the company, making it a proprietary initiative. In the same vein, such initiatives can be owned by the company in the form of becoming their intellectual property. And when they are able to generate innovation in this regard, it has an advantage in helping them have an edge over rivals, because they become the sole repository of that intellectual property or knowledge. And as part of their trade secrets, they may decide to prevent anybody from utilizing that particular knowledge as far as their competition with them is concerned. So in that regard, it ends up granting them an edge or competitive advantage over their rivals, particularly if they are able to scale it up into a commercial base to address the needs and concerns of customers. So it is now becoming a commonplace for tech firms to invest heavily in their own research labs or engineering teams, simply because once these teams or labs are successful, they end up generating proprietary technologies that will be solely owned by the company in question. It is only when they decide or once that they may allow others to use it, but of course at a particular fee. But mostly they own it without sharing the ideas or the backroom knowledge with others. And a typical example can be drawn from Apple. So Apple is notable for relying extensively on their in-house research and development units to initiatives to design their chips. So they currently have their Silicon M1 and M2 processors that they are using all came out of the innovating hubs that they had in experimenting with some of these microprocessor developments. And for that reason, this innovation has now become part of their ecosystem integration. So the moment you are using any of the Apple products and you have access to this innovation, you are not expected to go outside it in order to get a third-party product for it to win. And by so doing, they get to also create a robust ecosystem to integrate all their functionalities. For that reason, we can say it is advantageous because it helps create proprietary knowledge and patents that is solely available to the company which is innovating. And it can also be argued that it strengthens their technological competencies that underpin their long-term competitiveness. And that is what I meant by the likelihood that firms that are able to innovate, particularly from their internal research and development interventions, is that they are going to have an upper hand over their rivals, as far as their rivals are not able to catch up with them with the new innovation they are wielding. And we can also say it provides control over their pace and direction of the innovation because they have the room to dribble and go all sort of directions that they believe is more promising for their firm and also where the future of their organization lies. And so no one will be able to dictate things for them. And they can always innovate to suit the problems that they are trying to address on behalf of customers with their technology. A major drawback or limitation associated with the internal R&D avenue as a source of innovation is that it is capital intensive. In fact, Meta or Facebook is reportedly spending over 20% of their annual revenue on research and development. And most of these, yeah, hello.
Okay, I think I was the one going to talk.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is fine now.
Uh-huh. So the first point I'm trying to make is that the internal research and development as a source of innovation is not a child's play because to run it is very much cost intensive. And Meta or Facebook in the interim is reportedly spending about 20% of its annual revenue to champion research and development to help them always innovate and lead the social media ecosystem. And other tech giants like Tesla, Microsoft are also all spending a huge chunk of their annual revenue just to help them stay ahead in the tech industry. So the implication is if as an organization, you do not have the means financially to sustain this continuous experimentation and entertainment of new ideas in the laboratories or the development units or research teams that have been deliberately dedicated for entertaining new ideas, then you will not be able to get the best out of it. apart from the cost component, it is also time consuming because most of the beautiful innovations that are now driving the tech world in terms of the revolution which is currently happening were all not attained overnight. Some of them, they were actually achieved when the projects were on the verge of being collapsed. So you can imagine if you do not have that luxury of time to continually encourage and entertain these development units or laboratories to be championing these innovative exercises, then it is not something that you can consider as part of your research and development intervention. Okay. Then the second source of innovation is what we characterize as open innovation. And this borders on the degree to which innovation is sourced by an organization from external parties. And that implies that the innovation, the company gets to collaborate with other external parties that are also notable for being, for showcasing excellence in their generation and test of new ideas that can push the boundaries of the tech industry. So the collaboration may be with universities. It could also be with startups that are showcasing a lot of promise. It could also even be with suppliers of some components of a company's products. It could even be with customers, just so they get the inputs and the feedback of customers to properly shape the product that they are trying to deliver to them. And in other circumstances too, it could be with competitors, just so they are able to co-create new technologies or solutions into the industry. The advantage of the open innovation is that it can, the first one is that it helps the firms that are collaborating to open innovate to share the cost, as I indicated under the internal research and development one, to be quite expensive. If two or more enterprises are coming together to co-create a particular solution for a problem in their community of practice, definitely they are going to share the cost. And they are also able to tap into their strengths so that they minimize their weaknesses whilst measuring their efficiencies and effectiveness. So reduction of the cost, they are also able to capitalize on their unique strengths and specialties. And comparatively, they may end up speeding up the development of the innovation since they are harnessing their unique specialties or strengths. And a major challenge with the open innovation as an avenue to source innovation is that it may lead to intellectual property disputes. So at the end of the day, who gets to own the patency for the innovation that has been developed? And it may also lead to complications in the management of the relationship of the parties that are co-creating a solution for an existing problem. But once they're able to find a way to agree on the terms and conditions of their relationships, and they also follow through the terms as well as the rules of engagement, then there shouldn't be any challenge for them to forging ahead. So IBM, the tech giant, as an example, is noted to have utilized this open innovation. In fact, they are noted to have embraced it right from the time of their inception. And that led to other operating systems such as the Linux and currently the blockchain one, which they label as Hyperledger. And they co-created it with other parties.
Okay, so Doc.
Yeah, hello.
So the case of Samsung cameras being sold to iPhone and other phones, we use an example.
Exactly. So when it comes to the components, the apart from the cameras, I think there are some other AI functionalities that they are also getting from Samsung. So at that level, you can say they are co-creating the innovation to improve the picture quality of phones. That is one level that you can use it as an example.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, finally, I have Beverly and okay, that was Ken. So we are still missing Shamira and who?
Augustine.
Yes, my namesake. Okay. Then the third avenue, which is corporate entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. So the corporate entrepreneurship as an avenue for innovation can be explained as the type of innovation which comes from entrepreneurial or intrapreneurial activities within the firm. And the idea is that when firms give opportunity or create a culture that encourages individuals to test their ideas, which they perceive to be much better than the existing ones currently in place in the organization, then that sort of culture can propel and scale up a lot of beautiful or innovative ideas in the company. So the employees here within the company will now be acting as entrepreneurs who will be creating perhaps new business ventures or products, or sometimes it could be processes that the company can later on come back and adopt as one of their milestones in providing services or solutions to customers in their markets. So the bottom line is that the organization in question should first of all the organization should embrace risk taking. So it should have a culture of taking risk, because if you are allowing some of your workforce to be experimenting with something that is currently not a conventional aspect of your operation, then definitely it amounts to taking higher level of risk. And the personality that the company should be nurturing is also that of openness, which implies that it should encourage individuals to be open to new ideas. It is under such circumstances or arrangement that corporate entrepreneurship will thrive. So if you are operating in an environment which thrives on risk averse, then definitely any crazy or innovative idea that may be lingering in the mind of an employee will be killed before it even gets tested. So they, and I was on corporates. So the bottom line here is that, an example is the Google 20% time policy that led to products like Gmail and Google Map. If you've come across the history behind those innovations, you'll realize that Google had a 20% time policy allotted to employees, that is 20% of their working hours within the week was allotted to employees or dedicated for employees that wanted to pursue projects that were of that which they have personal passionate for, and which they also saw to be something that the company may be able to scale up if it is successful. So by entertaining some of these experimentations and also allowing 20% of their working hours to be dedicated for some of these exercises, it can fit properly for the corporate entrepreneurship hub, which may eventually help companies to create innovation that may ultimately change the frontiers of their operations. So the benefit of this corporate entrepreneurship avenue is that it encourages exploration of ideas that employees may be having, particularly if it is not currently being championed by an organization. And it also provides an avenue to protect radical or crazy ideas that may, in the interim, be perceived as non-conventional, but that corporate image that comes with it helps it to be protected. And the third one is about the culture issue, which I was talking about. And if you have that culture which entertains, some of these try and test to be conducted within the working hours. And it also allows individuals to dedicate their passion to some of these ventures, then definitely it will ward off that risk-averse temperament, which normally kills some of these initiatives or innovations. So you can check about that Google 20% time policy, and most of these things will be able to be placed in their right perspectives. Any questions so far?
No, please, Doc. From my side.
Okay. Now, linking technology to customer needs. My question to the class is, of what use is a particular technology, innovation, or patents? It's not patent, trademark. If at the end of the day, it is not able to solve customer problems, or it is not able to address it is not able to come across as a solution to problem in the world of work, what would be the benefit of a particular innovation or technology?
No, please come again. Yeah, the question.
Okay. So, of what benefit is a technology if at the end of the day it is not able to address the needs and concerns of customers?
Oh, okay. So, you know, technology or the success of every technology is determined by how it's inured to the benefits of the end user or the customer. And so if a technology emerges and it doesn't have any benefit to the customer, then clearly that technology is not useful, because its usefulness can only be measured by the level of benefits that the customers enjoy from that particular technology. And it's supposed to improve life, like improve daily activities and all of that. So if we cannot do that, then the technology clearly is useless.
And if at the end of the day, a particular technology is rendered as useless, what are the repercussions for the organization that developed it?
There will be financial losses, because a lot of resources might have gone into the technology or the innovation and all of that. Time also might have been spent, and so it will cumulatively affect the company finances and resources.
Precisely. And for that reason,
Okay.
yes, who was that? Is that Norbert or
Yeah,
Geshan?
Doc, I would, yes. I would also mention loss of reputation as one of the examples.
Yes.
If your technology didn't work for a customer, it's going to be difficult for that customer recommending you to another customer, and hence it's going to affect your overall reputation.
Okay. What else? Yeah, Bevelyn.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, Bevelyn. I thought you wanted to contribute.
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, you thought, sorry, Norbert has said most of the things already.
Oh, you put it in a different balance for us to see.
Pardon?
I said put it in a different balance. Why you wanted to say it?
Hello.
Why you wanted to say, you can put it in a different balance.
So I wanted to say a wasted investment.
Okay, wasted investment.
Like your investments will go to waste.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. What else? Okay, so which means that it is hello.
Hello, Doc.
Hi.
You're listening.
We can hear you.
So it is a consensus that at any given moment, the technology that is being championed by an organization should be able to have substantial benefits for the customers in terms of addressing their needs or concerns. That is, there is a consensus here. How best can organizations ensure that the technology that they are deploying is indeed able to address the concerns of customers? How can they do that?
Yeah, Doc. So they can do that through intensive research. There could be market surveys, there could be feasibility studies, and other forms of, verifying from the market if this is what the market actually needs. So those needs assessment has to be done. And when the product is launched, some users can be engaged to analyze how beneficial this technology can be to them before rolling it out fully into the bigger market.
Excellent. What else? I like the way you are using the simple terms to explain. And once you are able to articulate it this way, even when you are sleeping and they tap on your shoulder to attend to discuss some of these issues, you'll be able to do it. Augustine.
No, it's Gershon, Doc.
Oh, okay, Gershon, sorry.
I was a little lost. I wanted to hear the question again, please.
Okay, so I'm saying initially we were discussing why it is important for technology to be beneficial to customers. But this subsequent question is, how can organizations ensure their technology is useful to the needs of customers?
Yeah, Doc.
Okay, Augustine.
Okay, first of all, there must be a pilot site that they need to
There must be a what?
A pilot site.
Pilot?
A pilot site, yes.
Okay, explain it and let me see.
To see whether the people will frequent or they will buy that particular project.
Okay.
Okay, before they will deploy nationally, that all nations they can deploy the PACE project. That is something that I know.
Oh, okay. So you are advocating that it should be tested within a niche in the markets for feedback before the final one will be rolled out on a commercial basis.
Or to even add to what guests is saying, maybe you can pull in random strangers to come and test whatever products you want to launch to get an honest review and feedback of the products, not like an internal, how do you say it?
In-house employees.
An internal, yeah, yes.
Okay. So you
And
are
also, if
all...
the market is also saturated with whatever technology it is, you have to figure out Hello.
Oh, your line was breaking at the
Hello.
end. So if you can repeat what you just said again. So you were saying if the market is saturated.
I was saying that in case that yes, you can also fish out.
Oh, her line has dropped. Any other contribution?
Hi, Prof.
Yeah,
Doc.
AC.
So it all bounds on the research, right? But it's also you can also do a form of behavior check. So the data doesn't lie. If customers are saying they want this, probably their behavior is actually different from what they're actually saying. So if you do also a behavior analysis on them, what the data is telling you, how they are, let's say if you are rolling out something of a bundle, you look at how their traffic is coming in, their traffic is going out, their purchasing power and everything. So if you look at all that, then you'll be able to inform that this behavior is related to this, although they are saying this is what they want, but their behavior is saying something else.
Oh, okay.
So you have to do a behavior analysis on them.
Excellent. AC, are you the one doing analytics, no?
Yes, please.
Then I understand your answer. Okay, thank you very much. Any other? In fact, I am impressed with the submissions you provided me so far because they are all creatively deduced from the points that I have over here. So you may not necessarily use my teams to discuss it, but the import of whatever mechanism you can use to align technology to customer needs are just what you've shared with me. So what AC was talking about is the data analytics I have over here. But the bottom line with the data analytics is that at the end of the day, the things that if you pull the data from your websites and your other search engines and you check the sort of things that are being searched in there, then it may inform you how best you can address their needs beyond what you may actually have on your shelf or in your organization. Then one of you also spoke about pitching it within a niche in the market or with the markets to get feedback. Essentially, you'll be dealing with customers so that the concerns and issues they may be raising with the technology can be refined until it gets to a standard that is actually substantial to their needs. When we say you are lead user method, it implies that you engage individuals that can be likened to your targeted customers who are constantly using similar technologies to give you their honest feedback on the technology. And by so doing, you can anticipate what the larger market is also likely to say based on the review that you are saying. Then you can address all the gaps or lapses that have been identified with it. So that is a beautiful discourse. Now let's look at the next theme that we are going to consider. Innovation capacity audits. Innovation capacity audits. One of the key milestones that can discern whether a particular organization will be able to innovate or not can be ascertained through innovation capacity audit. So what innovation capacity audit does is that it systematically assesses the ability of an organization to generate innovations, manage these innovations, and, if you like, implement those innovations. So you can liken it to a health check of an organization's innovation system to identify its strengths, weaknesses, whether there are some gaps to be filled, and what have you. If it is done honestly and candidly, innovation capacity audit is identified to help managers know their strengths, weaknesses, and gaps with the view of addressing them and being different from what other companies are currently championing. So it's the audits is carried out in stages or in phases. And these phases hover around the strategy that is being pursued by the company, the structure that has also been set up to facilitate all communications and transmission of innovations within it. And that portion is very much important because if you are running a bureaucratic structure, sometimes your beautiful idea that you are experimenting with will be shut down by your supervisor. And so other tech giants such as Meta and Tesla are now entertaining that open door policy where you can actually walk into the unit which is dedicated for embracing some of these beautiful ideas in order for all the resources and support you require to be provided. Then it is the auditing is also contingent on the resources. Does the company have the resources both human and technology to do the experimentation? Does it have the right culture in place to entertain it? And the culture should not be risk aversive, but it should be the one that has higher tolerance level for risk. And there should be the right processes to also entertain it. Generally, the benefits of innovation capacity audit is multifold, and this includes providing diagnostic insight that will tell management the strengths, weaknesses, and possible gaps that require to be addressed in order to help the company become more differentiated from competitors. It's also helped the firm to align their innovation activities with the strategy, because the strategy of the company may be to expand all rights, but to embrace technology that will reduce human elements in operations. And if this is the strategy, then it implies the innovation that we are all championing should be something that will be thinking to reduce the interference of human beings in operational activities. So as much as possible, there should be a sync between the innovation activities and the strategy. And it is the audit of the innovation capacity of an organization that can discern whether the company is on the right path or there is more room for improvements. And we can also say it builds a roadmap for development of sustainable innovation capabilities, in the sense that it's able to identify all that can be done at any point in time to cushion the creativity and leap of the company whilst addressing their weaknesses. And if this is done, then definitely the innovation that will be entertained over there will be a sustainable one and not a relatively permanent one. So the phases or stages of innovation capacity audits include the appraisal or the audits of the strategy and leadership which is available. Mind you, in all these auditing, it is important to discern whether the outcome of the rating is positive or negative. In other words, whether it is favorable for the company or unfavorable. If it is favorable, then it means that the capability of the company in that particular factor is good. But if it is unfavorable, then there is more room for improvement, which may require them to not only correct it, but perhaps embrace, improve upon that element. So if we are appraising the strategy and leadership capacity of an organization as an element of innovation capability audit, some of the integral questions which are considered include whether there is a clear innovation strategy in areas such as the adoption or the utilization of 5G, Internet of Things, and fintech services. If the answer is yes, then it implies the company is actually embracing a technology that can be leveraged to experiment new and interesting ideas. But if there isn't an available strategy to seize upon all this technology in the tech industry, then there is more room for improvements. In the same vein, the adoption and promotion of some of these technologies that can be leveraged to improve innovation capacity of an organization is also contingent on the type of leadership that is available. So if you are having a transformational leader that's embrace and also promote innovative initiatives, then definitely such a leader will be encouraging and providing the avenue for all these high techs to be adopted. And they will also be setting the right examples for others to follow. Then the second element that is also appraised when it comes to innovation capability audits is the structures and the processes that are normally laid out. By structures, you can think of it as the laid out protocols within which any innovative ideas can be entertained and pushed until it is accepted by top-level management to be implemented. And so if you are having a bureaucratic structure, then the idea is that such a system may frustrate the channeling of beautiful, innovative ideas to the top managers that actually have the power to sanction them to be experimented. So there is the need to create hubs wherein such ideas can be directly channeled for consideration. And that will give birth to the creation of dedicated research and development centers, laboratories, or units within the company to be encouraging some of these discussions. In the same vein, there should be a seamless process to nurture the ideas, wherein the generated idea will be interrogated or screened, and if it passes the test of time, it will be scaled up for commercialization. It is only at that level that end users will be able to patronize it, thereby eventually adopting it as a solution to their problem, which will give the company more customer base. So that process too should be seamless and not full of bottlenecks. Again, for any innovation to thrive, the resources and capabilities that are required to champion it must be available. So if you characterize the share of revenue that is being invested in research and development or digital transformation, and it is negligible, and it should tell you that that company is not serious when it comes to their intention to innovate, because it is garbage in, garbage out. The more you invest in research and development, the higher the likelihood that you may end up with new inventions that are going to push the frontiers of your operation, or maybe the industry where you ply your trade. And that is how you may end up getting the patency for that innovation, eventually facilitating your ability to differentiate your services from what your competitors may be having. And does the company have the right technical and digital skills to innovate? Yeah. So if the outcome of this assessment is yes, then it means that the company has done the right recruitment and selection when it comes to the war for talented workforce. But if it ends up that the technical people that are required to be spearheading the innovation are not found, or you don't have a lot of them in the company, then it means the hunt for talented persons into the organization has been compromised, which has to be looked at again. And under such dispensation, it all comes back to monetary issues, because you can identify the talent all right, but if you're unable to incentivize or convince them to leave whatever they are doing elsewhere to come and join your team, then definitely you will not be able to get them onto your side. So it is something that you can actually use money and the right conditions of service to bring people on board. Then assessment of customer orientation. So how well does the firm capture customers' insights? Does the information that is gathered through suggestion box and that is pulled from the websites of the company concerning the things that are being searched or purchased by a customer, do they take it serious, or it is treated as just one of the things that is not necessarily supposed to be considered in high esteem? So if a lot of attention and respect is accorded to that sort of data, then it is a favorable outcome, which will always help the company to align their operations and innovations with the needs and concerns of customers. And the reverse is true. Indeed, companies that score high on customer orientation are the ones that are constantly engaging the customers to co-create with them by pitching new technology that they are intending to bring into the market first with them for feedback. And once there are further refinements and improvements, the final outcome is eventually introduced into the market. So that provides an avenue for them to test and retest the technology before it is commercialized and brought into the general markets. Then the culture of the company will also determine the innovative capacity of the company, in the sense that if they are having, if the culture is such that it has a higher tolerance level for risk, then definitely it will entertain all these entrepreneurship and incubation hub for innovative ideas to be experimented across some of their incubation labs. But if the culture that maintains in the organization is no, sorry. So when you say risk averse, that is where they do not like taking risk. So if the tolerance level for risk taking is high, then they will entertain and embrace incubation hubs to be tolerating some of these tests and trials of the innovation. But if they are risk averse, that is why we say their tolerance level for risk taking is very low. And such a culture will shoot the new idea down before it even gets tested. So as much as possible, it is expected that when an appraisal of the organizational culture is done and it is identified to be nurturing a risk-averse culture and individuals that are not open to new ideas, then immediately there is supposed to be a retooling or workshop to address some of these things. And that will be an attempt to change the behavior of individuals, which must be done through a change in the culture. Then how the performance and other metrics are also treated in the company. So how is innovation success measured? Is it measured in terms of patents? If that is the only thing it does, then it might not necessarily end up providing value to customers. So we need to go beyond the patents and the registration of the innovation to actually commercialize it and align it with customer needs. It is only at this pedestal that we can say it is actually serving as a solution to real problems in the world. Again, if another metric of performance measurements in the company is contingent on the degree to which the innovation can generate a revenue stream, then that also toes on the line of commercialization of the innovation. And that is a sign that the company is actually doing something well. Well, in the sense that they are not only injecting money into the research and development of the innovation, but they are also getting returns on such investments. ROI, return on investment, and the adoption rate. To what extent is the innovation that is being churned out adopted by would-be users? If the adoption rate is high, then the utility of the innovation is also high, which means the company has a stronger innovation capacity. But if at the end of the day, the adoption rate is unfavorable, then it means that there is still a question mark around the innovation that is being produced. Maybe it is not actually addressing the needs of the targeted users, and that is why they are reluctant to adopt it, which require more room for improvements. And is there a balance between incremental improvements and radical innovations? If they are able to, normally the incremental improvements, you are able to get connected to the idea of getting a return on companies' investment. So incremental improvements will imply that within the interim, you are able to see the upgrades that you are bringing with the technology and the returns that the company is getting for customers embracing the upgrades. But the Radical ones may take a longer period of time before you are able to achieve something. And that may mean that in the short run, you are not going to get any return on such investment. It is only when you are able to break through that such radical innovations will eventually fetch a lot of income for the company. So normally when you are able to balance the two such that you are not only throwing money into the development of innovations, but you are also churning out innovations that within the short period of time, you can quantify the gains that you are making over time. Then we say the innovation capacity of the company is favorable. Because if it turned out to be only radical ones and we are not able to make a financial argument for why we have to keep on pumping money into it, you may struggle to convince management to still support the pursuit of that innovation. Any question?
No question, Doc.
Okay. So we will